congratulations. You took second place with 12 laps to go. Another lap or so, do you think you could have got the win today, or did Ferrari have the pace?
Yeah, first of all, well done, Charles. Good job. For sure, we tried everything we could today, as a team. And personally, I was giving everything I could for the win. For sure, it's annoying because it's so close, finishing less than 1 second behind the leader. But yeah, at least I tried everything I could. We tried, and the tricky bit that they were so quick on the straights, and it just required us to be so close in the corners that it was not really possible to follow, leading to the straight, and also getting issues with brakes locking up once getting so close to the car ahead. So was pushing hard. So what can I say? Just not quite enough, but otherwise good race. It was good fun. I really enjoyed it, hunting for the win, and pace was pretty good, especially in the second stint.
Thank you, Valtteri. Lewis, coming to you. You put a lot of pressure on Charles Leclerc today. How much pleasure do you get from that race?
There's not a lot of pleasure from finish third, but going backwards is never a great thing, but still it was a great race. He did a great job. It was nice and tight for a long time, and they deserved the win. They did a better job.
Well, let's open this to the floor now. Please remember to give your name and publication. First question.
Scott Mitchell from Autosport. Lewis, during the race while you were trying to hunt down Charles, heard a couple of times that it got a bit dicey with him. There was the move at the second chicane where he pushed you onto the runoff, and then I think there was also a bit of a move through Curva Grande where you were going around the outside and you moved to the left. Was it just heat of the moment, frustrations in the car, or on reflection, a bit calmer? Do you still think that he was maybe a bit on the limit or over the limit at times?
That's racing. Yeah, it's just racing, I guess, and I had to avoid colliding with him a couple of times, but that's I guess that's how the racing is today. You just move forwards.
Thank you, Lewis. Charles, we'll just come to you now. Many congratulations. Second race win in the bag. It was an incredible Grand Prix, an incredible podium. Can you just describe the last 2 hours or so of your life?
It's quite difficult. A lot going through my mind during the race, after the race. A lot of emotions. Obviously, it was very, very difficult during the race. Lewis was behind me. I think the biggest gap there was maybe 1.7 or 1.8 seconds, so always right behind me. I knew that Lewis, rarely do mistakes, so obviously I had to stay on it. I did few mistakes, which never cost me a position. Once was very, very close, but was crazy. And then finally, in the last 2 laps, I started to believe that the win was possible. The tires felt quite okay. I think with the traffic, Valtteri dropped a little bit, and that helped me to get a little bit of space. And then finally going on the line was just, I let go all my emotions through the radio. I don't think you can understand anything that I've said on the radio, but it felt absolutely amazing. And the podium also, is going beyond all the dreams I've had since child. To see so many people cheering for one team, singing all together, it's amazing.
If we were to discuss the decisive moments in today's race, was it that choice of the hard tyre at the pit stop?
I don't know. I think the strategy was good. Obviously, we were in a tricky situation because we had the 2 Mercedes behind, and I was the only Ferrari, so they could play the game of going long with one car and earlier with the other. So it was very, very tricky. But at the end, I think we've made the right choice with the hard.
Thank you. Let's open this to the floor again. Next question.
Following up, Mike Dudson, following up that response, Charles, I'd like to ask Mr. Hamilton if he actually had a choice of white tyres, and if you had put them on, if they had been available, would the result have been different in your opinion?
If I had gone onto the hard tyre, obviously I probably would have probably would have had the pace to finish second, but with a tyre that goes longer. But I wouldn't have changed the position, I think, between myself and Charles. I think they just ultimately just a little bit too quick today. I did ask in the morning if I could go to the hard tyre, but they said no. So they said that they just because we hadn't run it, they didn't think it was quick enough. I think the tyre that we were on was quick, but I did say in the meeting this morning that the tyre was potentially going to go off the cliff, but it's because I was following so closely behind for so long, just really on the ragged edge, trying to get as close as I could to be in shoot distance of trying to overtake. But every time I opened up the DRS, they just went. I don't know if you're going to a different power mode, but the gap would stay the same. So it's pretty incredible the speed they have on the straights.
Thank you. Next one.
Peter Windsor, Clark Sport. Charles, congratulations. Speaking of cliffs, I'm just wondering how your tyres were in the last 10, 15 laps and how much time management was involved. The car looked a bit squirrely on some corners, had a few moments, a few lock-ups. How near the cliff were you?
The hard were quite difficult to manage. From the beginning, apart from the first 2 laps, or maybe no, a bit more, maybe 3-4 laps, I felt quite good, but then there was like a drop of grip from all 4 tyres, and then I've been struggling a little bit with front locks, and towards the end I've started to lose the rear, and that's where the performance where I started to slow down a little bit. So they were not in a very bad shape. I believe they could have stayed where they were for quite many laps still, but yeah, I was just struggling with the rear left especially.
Thank you. Next one.
Luke Smith, Crash.net. Charles, you said since Austria and the incident with Max that you changed your approach, being more aggressive. I think we saw that most clearly today in your fight with Lewis. Could you talk us through that battle with Lewis? And do you think without this change in approach you made that you would have won today's race?
Yeah, obviously, I think since Austria, it's clear that we can go a bit further in the way we defend and overtake, and yeah, just the aggressivity of us drivers. I believe that Austria helped me to change this approach, and today it's also thanks to this that I managed to win. It was obviously very on the limit, but yeah, I'm happy to race like this.
Thank you. Next one.
Diego Sanchez for the Best Formula One. A question for Charles. Charles, can you describe how do you feel right now, just in one word, and why you choose this word? Thank you.
I don't know how you say it in English. Libération? Libération? Yeah, freedom. Yeah, more or less this than freedom. I mean, obviously, how many laps there was in the race? 53. Okay, well, the 53 laps felt a lot longer than 53 laps. As I've said, a lot of pressure from behind. So obviously, once I crossed the finish line, until now it's just pure happiness.
Thank you. Next one.
Zsolt Godina, F1 Világ.hu. Charles, congratulations. After this race wins, how do you see your chances for the next races? And do you think that this could be a turning point for Ferrari in terms of the championship?
We need to stay realistic. I think we expected that Spa and Monza will be very good races for our car, but we also know that the next few races will be a lot more difficult for our car. So we need to be realistic, and yeah, it's not going to be easy. I think especially Singapore, it will be a nice surprise if we are better than what we expect, but we expect to struggle there. So yeah, we'll see in 2 weeks.
Next one.
And some BBC Sport. To all three of you, last year Verstappen got a 5-second penalty for a move that looked similar to what happened at the Roger chicane today between Charles, you and Lewis. What do the three of you think about the black and white flag being employed for that move today?
Well, Charles, you received it. What are your thoughts?
To be completely, I've been aware on the radio that I took a black and white flag for moving and braking, but I'm not so sure of which move you are speaking about. If it's the one in the right-hander where we were flat out, or after that? Was it after that?
I don't know which one you get it for.
Sorry.
Under braking.
Yeah, I know, but
Braking
I
for
think
the second
on-
chicane.
Yeah,
The first one, when Lewis went slightly off the track to the right on your outside,
on the right.
on the entry to the
Okay.
chicane.
Well, to be completely honest, I was obviously I knew he was on the right. He braked a little bit early, which I think probably was on purpose because he didn't want to try around the outside. I thought I had left a car with, but I haven't seen the images to be honest. But I was pretty sure there was a car with.
And Charles, what do you think of the use of the black and white flag? Do you
As
welcome
I've said, I think it's good if we can race harder. Again, I haven't seen the images, so I cannot say particularly this case, but overall, I'm happy if we can race harder. So yeah, I'm fine.
Lewis, can we get your thoughts?
I mean, we've just constantly asked for consistency. So there was a rule put in place, and then it wasn't abided by today, and they used a different consequences for the rule today. But I don't really know why that was the case. It's motor racing, I guess, and I guess the stewards woke up on a different side of the bed this morning. Maybe, I don't know.
So do you not welcome the use of the black and white flag?
Well, that's what then Verstappen should have got that last year. We've asked for consistency, so the same rule should apply each time. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it.
Okay. Valtteri, your thoughts?
I haven't seen the whole thing, so can't say anything.
Okay. Next one, please.
Hi, Daniele Sparisci from Corriere della Sera. Question to Charles. Congratulations, first of all. Was it more difficult to win here or in Belgium as with all this battle?
Here. Yeah. I think it's the first weekend in my life where the only thing I've got in my head is winning. Normally I focus on just the job I have to do in the car, which normally is more successful and it works better. But since Wednesday, seeing the support we've had was just, incredible. So the only thing I wanted this weekend was win in front of all the guys that are supporting us for the team. And so it was very difficult because also during the race I was thinking to that win and how much it would mean to everyone in the grandstand here. So it was adding a bit of pressure, and as I've explained earlier, I also had quite a lot of pressure from lap 1 to the last laps.
Thank you. Next one.
Stéphane Barbier, l'équipe. Charles, could you describe especially your feelings on the podium, which is so different here from other places, perhaps?
Well, it felt amazing. I've never had a podium with, I've never been on a podium with so many people underneath it, and to see that the whole straight was full of people, mostly red, 99% red, was great to see. And as I said earlier, hearing them cheering, singing, and was just a lot of emotions.
Next one.
Heikki Kulta. Valtteri, 7-time Finnish driver is second in this race. Is it impossible place to win here?
No, it's not impossible. It was not far away today, obviously. It just happens. A Finn haven't won here, so maybe one day try again next year, obviously. But like I said earlier, I think we tried everything we could and felt like we maximized everything with the strategy and all, but just not quite enough.
Next one.
Sean McAvoy, Daily Mail to Charles. Congratulations on the win. What are your earliest memories of Ferrari? Do you remember, for example, Michael Schumacher winning the Italian Grand Prix? Maybe just a little bit on that sort of background as a boy. It's quite a while ago.
I'm very bad with history, and I've got a very bad memory for my own races. For the others' races, I really don't remember anything. The only thing I can remember is maybe one of the first Grand Prix I've seen in Monaco, which was in the exit of turn 1. I remember looking for the red car. I was playing with the small cars that you have once you're a child. I was maybe 5 years old or something like this. This is the only memory I have from a Formula 1 car, probably. So, That's it.
Charles, can you tell us about your first visit to Maranello?
I arrived there with Jules Bianchi, which had to go there for some TV stuff, and obviously he tried to let me in with him, but they decided I couldn't go in the factory. Now it's a little bit easier to go inside, but yeah, I remember obviously dreaming of one day go through these doors and see how a Formula One team work, and especially Ferrari. But I remember I was very impressed by the way, as soon as you arrive in Maranello, which is a city, you can feel that everyone is just here, all working for Ferrari or just completely crazy about Ferrari. And yeah, that was very, very special.
Can you remember what year that was with Jules?
No, I've got a very bad memory.
Thank you. Next one.
Question to Charles Rodrigo, França VIP Magazine. Charles, speaking of that, you are a Ferrari driver academy since a long time. You're in Ferrari family. So can you speak the importance of the program and if that makes so special the podium and you're winning here in Monaco for the fans and for Ferrari family?
Well, at the end, if I'm here, it's also thanks to the FDA. There are few people in my career that has helped me to get there, but definitely the Ferrari Drivers Academy is part of these persons or group of persons. We did a lot of mental preparation, physical preparation. They also helped me a lot with the simulator work, so I was quite a lot on the simulator, and they have tried to give me as much experience that they had from Formula One to me to grow as a better driver. So obviously I believe it's a great proof that the academy is working properly, and there are also a lot of upcoming talents coming and that are very strong, and I'm pretty sure they will come very soon, joining obviously me, but all of us in Formula One soon.
Next one.
Joe van Buurik, Racing News 365. Question to Charles. How much did you miss the support from Sebastian today in the race? Was it extra hard considering you didn't have him?
Obviously, it's always an easier situation to have two cars instead of one. But obviously, yesterday Seb have been extremely unlucky. He couldn't do the lap in the second run of Q3. So yeah, but I'm pretty sure it will be better in the next races.
Next one.
Fabio Seguetta, Tutto Motorsport. A question for Charles. Obviously, with this win, you've overtook Sebastian in the driver standings. Do you think that in the next races, apart from the good or bad performances, you will stay there, or do you think that together you can try to get as many points as you can to go over and maybe challenge the two guys at the left and right of you?
To challenge Lewis and Valtteri will be very difficult because, as I said, I don't think we'll be as competitive as we've been in Spa and Monza, but let's see, obviously. But then I don't know if I will keep the position ahead of Seb in the Drivers' Championship. I think we need to work together to try and have the best performance for the team. He wants to beat me, I want to beat him as much as he does, but yeah, we'll see at the end of the championship. I can't know.
Next one.
Giovanni Messi, News Formula One. I have two questions for Charles. The first one is, what did you think during your final lap? And if you have an opinion, I don't know, on the Sebastian's mistakes during the first laps of the race.
In the last two laps, I started to see in the grandstand that there was quite a lot of agitation, that all of the fans were jumping, and so yeah, I was telling myself, just stop looking at the grandstand, look at the track, focus on what you are doing as a driver, and then you'll enjoy whatever there is outside. But it was quite difficult to stay focused on driving, seeing how much movements there were in the grandstand. And then I haven't seen yet Seb's mistake.
Next one.
Davide Russo, News Formula One. Question for Valtteri. Do you still believe in this championship?
Well, there's no point ever giving up when there's still, statistics say it's possible. Obviously, it's a bit of a long shot, honestly, if you're realistic with the way Lewis is performing and consistency he's having. But obviously, you never know. This is F1. We've seen crazy things happening, so there's no point giving up. I'll just focus on, as an individual, my best performance I can, and for us as a team to keep those improvements coming that we are doing together. And by the end of the year, we will see, but no point giving up.
Next one.
Daniel Horvath, the Paddock Magazine. Charles, you need to beat a four-time world champion first if you want to win a race. Do you think Sebastian is the toughest teammate you ever had, considering the lower categories as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's definitely the more complete driver I've been in the same team with. So, yeah, I've learned a lot from Sebastian. He's an amazing driver, very quick, and yeah, he has a lot of experience too. So the way he works, he's very methodical and very detailed. And of that, I've learned a lot.
Any more?
Andrew Benson, BBC Sport again. Lewis, you've had apparently, it would appear from the outside, a very warm and respectful relationship with Charles so far this season. Will anything change in that as a result of your unhappiness today?
I'm not unhappy. Of course, as I said, I don't like to go backwards, but he did a fantastic job today. Gave him as much pressure as I could, and we had a couple of close moments. I mean, we could probably talk about it in private together, but it's nothing major. And we continue to race. I'm looking forward to many more races together, and yeah.
Okay, got time for one more.
Peter Windsor again, Clark Sport. Charles, one more quick question. Amazing that you mentioned that you were thinking during the race about winning and what it meant. And I'm just interested to know what part of the lap, given the amount of pressure you were under constantly, you were able to think about that. Where on the circuit were you able to actually think about things like that?
Maybe in the long straight for like 200 meters, I had the time to think.
Fast.
Yeah.
He's taking a cigarette in the straight.
Yeah, we were quite quick down the straights. But yeah, not for the whole straight, only for a part of it. But I was thinking very quickly.
Okay, gentlemen, that's all we've got time for. Many congratulations. Wonderful race today.